Good morning in a world where everyone shares everything what they're doing, what they're planning, and what they hope to achieve. I want to challenge you to do something different. Focus on yourself and stay silent on your goals. Too often we seek validation before we even take action. We announce our plans expecting applause, and in doing so we waste an energy that should be spent on execution. The truth is, talking about success isn't the same as achieving it. When you stay silent, you gain an advantage. You're not distracted by opinions, doubts, or unnecessary pressure. Instead of proving yourself to others, you prove yourself to yourself. Talking about your goals can often feel like progress, but in reality, it's just an illusion. When you share your ambitions with others, you get a brief sense of satisfaction, almost as if you've already accomplished something. This sense of validation tricks your brain into thinking that you're closer to success than you actually are. But the truth is, talking doesn't equal doing. Energy should be directed toward action, not words. Every moment spent discussing plans is a moment taken away from executing them. The mind operates on focus. What you consistently think about and work toward is what grows. When you put too much emphasis on talking, your focus shifts from actual work to gaining approval or reassurance from others. You may start seeking motivation from outside sources rather than from within. This can be dangerous because motivation that relies on external factors is fleeting. Real progress requires sustained effort, discipline, and a strong internal drive that doesn't depend on others' reactions. Imagine two people with the same goal. One talks about it constantly, telling friends and family about their dreams and aspirations, while the other remains silent and gets to work. The one who talks receives immediate praise and encouragement, which can create a false sense of accomplishment. The other, however, is quietly making progress, facing challenges, and pushing forward without distractions. Months later, the one who spoke a lot might still be in the same place, while the one who stayed silent has made significant strides towards successes. This is the power of focused action. When you talk about your goals prematurely, you also invite unnecessary expectations. People start watching, waiting, and sometimes even doubting. You might feel pressure to meet their expectations or prove something to them rather than staying true to your process. This pressure can lead to anxiety, hesitation, and self-doubt, which can slow down your momentum. On the other hand, when you keep things to yourself, you are free to move at your own pace without feeling the weight of other people's opinions. Another crucial aspect of keeping quiet about your goals is that it helps you stay adaptable. Plans often change. Challenges arise. Sometimes a goal you once had might need adjustments or even a complete shift in direction. When you haven't made big public declarations, you have the flexibility to evolve without feeling like you are going back on your word. Instead of explaining changes to others, you can focus entirely on making necessary improvements. The key to success lies in small, consistent efforts made daily. These efforts compound over time and they lead to significant outcomes. However, if you are spending too much time sharing your ideas, you might lose sight of the small steps required to bring them to life. The most successful people are not the ones who talk the most about their plans, but the ones who commit to daily execution, regardless of who is watching. It's not about being secretive or isolating yourself from others. It's about understanding that results speak louder than words. When the time is right, your work will be evident. There will be no need for explanations, no need for validation, only undeniable proof of your dedication and effort. Stay silent, focus on yourself, and let your success do all the talking. When you share your goals with others, you'll open the door to opinions, judgments, and doubts that may not be helpful to your journey. While some people may be supportive, others might unknowingly plant seeds of uncertainty in your mind. Even a simple question like, "Are you sure that's the right path?" can cause you to second-guess yourself. The more you expose your plans to outside perspectives, the more you risk losing confidence in your own direction. Doubts from others often come from their own fears and limitations, not yours. Many people project their insecurities onto those around them. If they don't believe in themselves, they may struggle to believe in you. They might say things like, "That sounds really difficult," or "I don't think that's realistic," not because your goal is impossible, but because they can't imagine themselves achieving it. If you let these comments affect you, you might start questioning your own abilities, even when you were completely confident before. Another danger of sharing your goals too soon is that you may feel pressured to live up to expectations. When people know what you're working toward, they may frequently ask about your progress. While this might seem like accountability, it can actually create stress and anxiety. You may feel like you have to meet deadlines that you never set for yourself, or that you can't change your approach without appearing inconsistent. This pressure can make the journey feel more like a performance than a personal mission, leading to frustration and even burnout. Criticism is another challenge that comes with making your plans public. Even if your goal is meaningful and well thought out, there will always be people who find reasons to doubt you. Some may be envious of your mission, while others may genuinely believe they are giving you helpful advice by pointing out potential failures. The problem is that constant exposure to negative opinions can wear you down over time. You might start focusing more on proving people wrong than on actually making progress. This shift in focus can be distracting and ultimately slow you down. There's also the risk of getting too much approval too soon. When you talk about your plans and receive positive feedback, your brain may interpret that praise as a reward, similar to actually achieving something. This can reduce your motivation to take real action. It's easy to feel satisfied when people admire your ambition, but admiration alone won't get you to the finish line. The real rewards come from the work, not from premature recognition. Staying silent protects your mindset, keeps your energy focused where it matters most on execution. Without the noise of outside opinions, you can move with clarity and confidence. You don't have to explain yourself, justify your choices, or defend your dreams. You can simply do the work. The more you focus on action instead of discussion, the more progress you will make. When you eventually achieve your goals, the results will speak for themselves. At that point, you won't need approval, validation, or explanations. Your success will be proof of your commitment, resilience, and effort. The best way to handle doubts and criticism is not through words, but through undeniable results. Let your achievements silence any doubts, and let your progress be the loudest statement you ever make. Discipline and consistency are the foundation of success, but they require a level of focus that is often disrupted by external validation. When you share your goals with others, you risk becoming reliant on their encouragement or approval. This creates a cycle where motivation depends on external factors rather than internal commitment. True discipline comes from within. It's the ability to keep pushing forward even when no one is watching, even when no one is cheering for you. When you stay silent about your goals, you eliminate distractions and allow yourself to build discipline in a way that is purely self-driven. You don't need external motivation to take action. Instead, your commitment becomes an unshakable force that doesn't rely on applause. The problem with seeking validation is that it can become addictive. The more you receive it, the more you crave it. And eventually you may find yourself pursuing goals just to impress others rather than for your own personal growth. Consistency is also strengthened when you remove outside pressure. Many people start strong, but lose momentum when they don't see immediate results or when life gets challenging. If you have already announced your goals to the world, you may feel an obligation to prove yourself, which can lead to stress and anxiety. However, when you keep your journey private, you can adjust your approach without feeling like you are letting anyone down. This allows you to focus purely on progress rather than perception. Discipline is built in the small, unglamorous moments that no one sees. It's waking up early when you don't feel like it, putting in extra effort when no one is checking, and continuing even when the initial excitement has faded. These are the moments that determine success, but they don't require an audience. In fact, having too many eyes on your journey can create unnecessary pressure that interferes with your ability to stay consistent. When your focus is internal, your discipline becomes unshakable because it is not influenced by external factors. Another reason staying silent strengthens discipline is that it forces you to hold yourself accountable. When you tell others about your plans, you may feel like you have already accomplished something just by speaking about it. This can create a false sense of progress and reduce the urgency to take real action. But when you keep your goals private, you don't get that premature satisfaction. You only get results when you actually put in the work. There is power in quiet consistency. Some of the most successful people in the world operate in silence, making progress behind the scenes while others are busy talking about what they plan to do. They don't need recognition at every step because they understand that true success is built over time. Instead of seeking validation, they focus on daily habits and long-term growth. They trust that the results will speak for themselves when the time is right. Ultimately, staying silent and focusing on your work builds a level of discipline that cannot be shaken by external influences. You develop the ability to stay committed regardless of who is watching, and you build consistency that is driven purely by your own determination. When success finally arrives, it will be undeniable not because you talked about it, but because you lived it every single day. Words are easy to say, but real success comes from action. Talking about your goals can make you feel like you're making progress, but unless you back those words up with consistent effort, they mean nothing. Many people get caught in the trap of announcing their plans, receiving encouragement, and then losing the drive to actually follow through. The satisfaction of being praised for an idea can sometimes replace the motivation needed to execute it. When you focus on action instead of words, you shift your mindset from seeking validation to seeking results. Progress isn't about how many people know what you're doing, it's about the steps you take each day. The time and energy spent explaining your plans to others can be better used for working on them. Every time you talk about what you're going to do, you're using mental energy that could be directed toward taking the next step. The more you discuss, the more you risk delaying the work that truly matters. One of the biggest problems with talking too much about your goals is that it creates a sense of accomplishment without actual results. When people congratulate you on your ambition, your brain can interpret that as a reward, reducing the urgency to act. Instead of being driven by the challenge ahead, you may feel temporarily satisfied simply because others believe in you. This can create a dangerous cycle where you feel good about your plans but never take real steps to bring them to life. Execution requires consistency, patience, and resilience. It's not about making big announcements or seeking approval. It's about putting in effort every single day, even when no one is watching. There will be challenges, setbacks, and days when progress feels slow. But those are the moments that separate those who succeed from those who only talk about success. Real work happens in the quiet hours when no one is applauding, when no one is checking in, and when motivation fades but discipline keeps you moving forward. Another reason to focus on execution instead of discussion is that it protects you from unnecessary pressure. When you share your goals with others, you invite expectations. People start asking about your progress, and if you hit a setback, you may feel embarrassed or discouraged. This added pressure can cause you to rush, make poor decisions, or even abandon your goals altogether. But when you work in silence, you are free to move at your own pace, adjust when needed, and stay focused on the process rather than the perception. Success is about results, not promises. No one remembers the people who talked about what they were going to do. They remember those who actually did it. Instead of wasting energy convincing others of your plans, prove yourself through action. Work when no one expects it, improve when no one is watching, and when the results come, let them speak for themselves. The most powerful statement you can make is not through words, but through undeniable, visible success. Personal growth is a journey that belongs to you and no one else. When you focus on improving yourself, developing new skills, and reaching your goals, the process should be driven by your own desire for growth rather than the need for public approval. Too often, people seek validation for their ambitions before they have even taken meaningful steps toward them. They want recognition, support, or applause. But the truth is, personal development is not about how others perceive you. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, regardless of who is watching. When you constantly share your goals, you expose them to outside opinions that may not align with your vision. Some people will encourage you while others may discourage you, intentionally or unintentionally. Even well-meaning friends and family might question your plans, planting seeds of doubt that can interfere with your confidence. Their doubts may have nothing to do with your actual ability and everything to do with their own fears and limitations. If you let external voices influence you too much, you risk losing sight of why you started in the first place. Focusing on your personal growth means making decisions based on what is best for you, not based on what others think. Every person has a unique path, and what works for one person may not work for another. Seeking too much input from others can lead to confusion, hesitation, or even self-doubt. Instead of looking for approval, trust yourself. If you have a vision for your future, pursue it with full commitment and without the need for constant reassurance. Growth requires solitude at times. The most meaningful progress often happens when no one is watching. Whether it's waking up early to work on a new skill, spending late nights refining your craft, or pushing through setbacks in silence, these moments define true success. When you are too focused on public recognition, you may start prioritizing appearances over actual improvement. Real progress is made through hard work, discipline, and persistence, none of which require an audience. Another reason to prioritize personal growth over public approval is that external validation is temporary. If you rely on praise to stay motivated, you will always need more of it to keep going. The problem is that people's attention shifts quickly. One day they may celebrate your progress, the next they may forget about it entirely. If your motivation is tied to how others react, you will struggle to stay committed when that attention fades. True motivation comes from within. It's the inner drive to keep pushing forward even when no one acknowledges your efforts. Success is not about impressing others. It's about proving to yourself what you are capable of. When you achieve something through silent, consistent effort, the satisfaction is far greater than any external recognition. You don't need to announce every milestone or seek approval for every step forward. Instead, let your results speak. People will notice your progress when it becomes undeniable. And by that time, you won't need their validation because you will already have something more valuable: self-respect, confidence, and the knowledge that you built yourself through effort and perseverance. In the end, personal growth is about becoming better, stronger, and wiser, not for the world, but for yourself. When you stop seeking approval and focus on your journey, you gain the freedom to grow without limits. You don't need to prove anything to anyone but yourself. Stay committed, work in silence, and let your transformation be the only proof you need.